This pit bull has a heart of gold and couldn't leave her furry friend behind. In October 2014, a female pit bull terrier Meryl and her male chihuahua friend Taco were sent to the Rocket Dog Rescue Shelter. Nobody really knows why, but their owner dropped them off at the San Francisco Animal Shelter. The staff working there quickly realized these two abandoned dogs were far from the ordinary. It was clear they grew up together, but even the shelter staff was surprised by their bond. The dogs refused to be apart despite several attempts to split them. They obviously needed to be adopted together, so the staff was looking for a home that would want a pit bull and a chihuahua. Unfortunately, it seemed impossible and the dogs needed to be separated to find homes. The staff at Rocket Dog Rescue didn't know much about the dogs or their owners when Meryl and Taco were first dropped off. What they did notice was that the dogs didn't like to be separated and were best friends. An employee took one out to groom for a few minutes and both puppies cried out for each other. They were miserable when they were apart. The staff decided to take a picture of the pit bull and chihuahua together to help them get adopted as a pair. What kind of person would want separated dogs who look so cute together? The staff even captioned the photo explaining that they couldn't handle the thought of splitting them up and if there's anyone that would take them both. The vets at Rocket Dog Rescue take great care of the animals at the shelter. When they looked at Meryl, they noticed she wasn't in the best condition. They said she's about 3 years old and found out she might have been previously used as a breeder. The poor pup had a horrible urinary tract infection and was in desperate need of medical care. Luckily, she ended up at the perfect shelter to get it. That's when the volunteers understood why the owner wanted to get rid of her. First of all, the infection was life-threatening and required expensive surgery. Secondly, the surgery meant the dog would be incapable of breeding. If she was used as a breeder, the owner didn't really need her anymore. But what happened next was shocking. Vets moved quickly because Meryl needed immediate life-saving surgery. Taco was getting anxious because he was separated from her. He cried as he was nervously waiting to see his friend. The staff said that if the chihuahua knew what was happening, he wouldn't let her suffer alone and would never leave her side. Right when Meryl woke up from surgery, she immediately started crying for Taco. Taco was still waiting for her. The vet said it would be better for Meryl to heal on her own, but neither dog was calming down. The staff at the shelter needed to do something about the separation, but they also didn't want to endanger the dog who needed to recover from surgery. After listening to the dogs cry for hours, it was time to do something. They couldn't stand the noise or watching the dog suffer any longer. They finally brought Taco to see Meryl so they could both just relax. It was essential for Meryl's health and recovery to stay calm, and letting her see Taco seemed like the only way possible. When Taco was allowed in the room, he sat next to Meryl and didn't leave her side. His loyalty was so apparent that it concerned some volunteers that were watching. Could such a strong bond become dangerous over time? These weren't ordinary best friends, they were stuck to each other. Is that really the best thing for them? The Rocket Dog Rescue had been in the business for a while, and after years of rescuing dogs and adopting animals, they knew their stuff. They had a particular reason to be worried about the dogs. They've seen people adopt dogs and know how rare it is for two dogs to get adopted to the same house. It happened but was extremely uncommon. In addition to his attachment issue, Taco was at least 8 years old. Getting someone to adopt an older dog is difficult enough, let alone adopting both of them together. Although many people reacted to the photos of Meryl on the website, no one seemed to be interested in adopting the little aging chihuahua. But something happened after Meryl's surgery that changed how people saw these dogs and their upcoming adoption. Many people were interested in adopting Meryl. She was a gorgeous young dog with so much potential. Taco, on the other hand, was too old for most people to even consider adopting. Everyone was talking about Meryl. She was the perfect dog to attract possible families. Taco, unfortunately, wasn't. That's when someone came into the shelter looking to adopt a dog. He took one look of Meryl and unsurprisingly wanted her. She was the perfect dog for him. What he didn't know, however, is that she was kind of a package deal. She wouldn't leave Taco's side, the much older and less desirable chihuahua. The man was hopeful in giving the cute little pit bull a loving home and decided to adopt her on the spot. The shelter was happy. She found a great place to live with an owner who would love and adore her. The new doggy daddy signed the papers and was ready to bring Meryl home. Meryl was snuggling with Taco as she normally does when the owner took her out of the cage so that he can take her home. Immediately, both dogs started to cry. The man was incredibly confused and looked at the staff and volunteers for an explanation. He had no idea why his new dog was so upset. It was clear Meryl had no intention of going anywhere without her best friend. She wasn't just gonna leave Taco behind. She whined, cried, and basically caused a scene when she was being taken out of the cage. At this point, the staff had some explaining to do. They told the man that these dogs have such a strong bond and refused to be apart. The man wanted Meryl, but he really wanted the dogs to be happy. He was a huge animal lover and quickly realized these two pups needed to be adopted together. They wouldn't be okay if they ever got separated, it would break their hearts. But the man wondered if he was the right person to give these two dogs a happy home. Unfortunately, the man who wanted to adopt Meryl wasn't ready for the possibility of adopting two dogs. He ultimately chose a different dog to adopt, a dog that can come on his own. The staff was pleased that another dog found a loving new home, but they didn't know what they were going to do about Meryl and Taco. They needed to come up with a different plan. Something needed to change. Unfortunately, the idea of them being adopted together wasn't going very well. Adopting them separately wasn't an option at this point. So how could the staff at Rocket Dog Rescue ensure that both of these dogs would be chosen together? Instead of listing the dogs separately on their site, they put them up as a pair. They explained the dogs were a package deal and needed to be adopted together by one single family, and that's it. No one can adopt Meryl without taking Taco too. It was too heartbreaking to see them cry whenever they got separated. The Rocket Dog Rescue employees captioned the photo saying how the bonded dogs lost their family and home. The shelter wasn't gonna let them lose each other on top of everything else. But could this idea really work? Is there a home really willing to take two animals, one being an elderly Chihuahua? Thanks to social media, the picture of the Pitbull and Chihuahua quickly went viral. Who can resist such a cute picture of Meryl with Taco slipped in between her legs? His cute little head popped out, making him look even more adorable. No person would want to separate these two bundles of cuteness. The picture illustrated how attached the dogs were to one another. In the photo, Taco literally looked attached to Meryl, and if things went his way, he would be. The Pitbull felt the exact same way. The picture made these two famous, but did it help them find a new loving home together? Just a few days after posting the picture, the dynamic duo went viral. Within days, the photo had more than 26,000 shares, 14,000 likes, and 1,000 comments. It was clear that people on the internet felt strongly about this pair of adorable dogs. I mean, it would be like separating siblings at this point. But thankfully, with such a positive response, the Rocket Dog Rescue was confident that the right person would come along and adopt the two fluffballs. Multiple families started expressing interest, and they thought the right one was just around the corner. Were they just holding on to false hope? The rescue made sure to update their page frequently, letting people know that Meryl and Taco were still available. They were really hoping the perfect owner would come along and adopt both dogs, but was that gonna happen? The last thing the rescue staff wanted was to see them languishing in the shelter. To at least get them out of the shelter, Jody, one of the volunteers, decided to foster the two until they were adopted. They were just so different. One young, one old, one small, one large, but then something happened that gave the staff some hope. The Facebook post was swirling around the internet for a while, but unfortunately nothing really came of it. But suddenly, a family from San Jose came across the picture and decided they were going to take both dogs and offer them a good loving home. Of course, they wanted to meet them first to make sure it was a good fit. The family headed over to Jody's house to see how the dogs would feel around them. They were surprised to learn these dogs were even better in person. It seemed as though they finally found a loving home, but things weren't perfect just yet. Sure, the dogs had a family that loved them and allowed them to stay together, but it wasn't really the ideal situation. Taco was getting older, which came with some health issues. Other than asthma, poor Taco had gum problems, which caused most of his teeth to fall out and make his tongue floppy. Despite all the health complications and clear neglect Taco suffered, the new family was happy to take them as they are and deal with any issue the dogs had. However, the dogs were only home for about a month when it became evident that Taco's health issues weren't as minor as they initially thought. After a month of being with their new family, the owners took Taco to the vet for a checkup. Older Chihuahuas are known to be fragile, so they wanted to make sure everything was okay. Sadly, they didn't receive the news they were hoping for. When the vet examined Taco, he realized the dog was in heart failure. After running a few times, it became evident that there were bigger issues at hand. In addition to his other health complications, the Chihuahua had an enlarged heart and fluid around his lungs. His condition wasn't looking good at all. Taco's new family was worried about him. The vet made it clear to them that Taco needs to see a specialist as soon as possible before his heart gave up completely. He gave them some medication for the dog and they immediately scheduled an appointment with a vet specialist. It felt like their appointment with the specialist took forever to arrive. Meanwhile, Taco was taking his medication and spent most of his time playing with Meryl. The family loved the dogs already and were hopeful that Taco would be okay, but they were also terrified that they might get some more bad news and have to put the Chihuahua down. Given Taco's age and condition, his chances weren't looking too great. His new family grew to love him completely and didn't want to lose him. They were determined not to give up on Taco and make sure he knew how loved he was. I mean, this dog got more attention in a short time with a family than he had his entire life. However, it was Meryl who came to aid her best bud. Taco looked after her when she was sick and recovering, and now it was her turn to help her poor friend. She made sure he was cared for at all time, and she didn't leave Taco's side for more than a minute. While anxiously waiting for Taco's appointment with a vet specialist, the family was surprised to see him getting better. Maybe it was all the love he was showered with, maybe it was his special bond with Meryl that kept him going, or maybe it was nothing more than a miracle. Whatever the reason, Taco was looking better. When the specialist finally met with Taco, he gave the Chihuahua a few medications to help him recover. He got steroids to help prevent fluids from going into his lung, plus some anti-seizure medicine. Taco made a full recovery from his heart issues, but unfortunately, his lung problems didn't end there. Even though Taco had health complications, they didn't slow him down. Sure, he might look tiny compared to the pit bull, but the little Chihuahua was a ball of energy. Meryl even gets tired before Taco does. The fact that an old sick dog can keep up with a pup like Meryl is incredible. Taco is living a pretty wonderful life. Since the two dogs got adopted together, they've been living happily with their new family. Taco's loved and surrounded by people who care about him, and of course Meryl, who stayed by his side all along. The family even made a Facebook page for their two pets. The family chose to stay anonymous, but they do run the Meryl and Taco Facebook page. They share the beautiful and unbreakable bond the dogs have, and the page is pretty popular. So many internet users were interested in the pair after the viral post from Rocket Dog Rescue, and now they can follow them online. The pictures show how happy the pets are in their new home and how well adapted they are to their new family. Although the dogs appear to be content, they still can't be separated. They will still cry if they're apart from each other, even if it's just for a minute or two. Meryl's a young bouncy pup and spends a lot of time playing and running with her family in the yard. The way she leaps and rolls makes her look like the happiest dog in the world. It's not surprising, considering she found a wonderful place to live with a perfect family and her best friend. Taco has energy, but he's not as fast as his pit bull friend because of his tiny little legs, but his family loves to carry him around. All the dogs want is to not be separated. As long as they're close together, Taco and Meryl are content. Taco loves to be carried around and cuddled up. He has fun running around with Meryl, of course, but he loves being wrapped up and swaddled. He's literally picked up like a newborn baby and is happy when he's being snuggled. When Taco's not being carried around though, he's in close proximity to his buddy Meryl. Even though the pit bull is obviously bigger and stronger than Taco, Meryl never exerts her dominance. She's more than happy to allow Taco to climb on her, jump on her back, and basically use her body as a huge pillow. Their love for each other is unbelievable. The pit bull and Chihuahua obviously spent most of their time together, but now they were getting attached to their human family as well. Both dogs love sleeping next to them and can often be found on a bed, snuggled up with one of the family members. If someone's watching TV, Taco and Meryl are right beside them curled up. Their Facebook page featured pictures of the two doggies cuddling up with one another after playing. You can also find several photos of them cuddling with their favorite humans. They're surrounded by so much love and care within the family. Ever since the dogs were adopted from Rocket Dog Rescue, they've been happy. They never have to be worried about being abandoned and left without a family ever again. Their social media documents the special moments with their family, including their first Christmas in their new home. The family dressed the two dogs up to celebrate the holiday and showed them off for the internet world to see. When they posted the photo, the family made sure to thank Jody and Rocket Dog Rescue for helping them find their beloved pets. It was a long journey, but the dogs were finally exactly where they want to be, and they're together. Another celebratory day was Taco and Meryl's 1-year anniversary of coming home. The plan was to have a fun day, going for a walk with the family and some other friends the dogs like playing with. The family celebrated the dogs and surprised fans when they posted another picture. It was a photo of Meryl and Taco with Kim, the Rocket Dog employee who originally posted the photo of both dogs together in the shelter. She was the reason the family found the two precious canines in the first place. Thanks to her efforts, they were finally exactly where they belong. The bond Meryl and Taco have was formed during difficult times, but it created something special for the animals to share. For them, age, health, and size differences didn't matter. All they wanted was to be together, and they were happy. When you take a first look at the pit bull and Chihuahua, it might look like they're in love, but their beautiful relationship goes far beyond that. No one knows what exactly happened to these two before they were abandoned, but it must have been terrible. They're attached to one another like glue and take care of each other. Since Meryl and Taco's case garnered so much interest around the internet, Rocket Dog Rescue decided to share a picture of the beloved doggy duo. The picture was of the two sweet canines snuggling up next to a fireplace and illustrates how happy and content they really are. Under the picture was a caption that read, "Meryl and Taco are doing wonderful in their forever home. They're enjoying hanging out by the fire, snuggling up after another fun-filled day." It was certainly heartwarming and made fans ecstatic to see how happy the precious furballs were with their loving family. Meryl and Taco will be together until the end, but Meryl started to branch out and make some new friends. She's open to more companionships, and here you can see her with a new favorite friend, PJ. This picture was taken the first time the two dogs ever played together. The canines were having a great time running around and playing. It seems like PJ matched Meryl's antics and high energy more than little Taco. Many people wondered why Taco wasn't there that day, but don't worry, he was fine but had other plans. After the dogs spent a few years with their wonderful loving family, they were able to be separated every once in a while. That means Meryl can play outside with her doggy friends while Taco chills in the house. The older Taco's getting, the more he'd rather relax than run around. Someone commented on a photo asking why Taco wasn't included in Meryl's playdate, and the owner replied saying it was getting rough out there. It's like Clash of Titans stuff. They decided to keep Taco out of the intensity, and the Chihuahua was totally okay with it. The dogs were having a fantastic time with their new family and finally felt safe and secure. The family knew exactly what to do to make them feel great. In this picture, you can see Meryl and Taco having a fun spa day at the groomers, but they don't look particularly thrilled. The owner admits that the doggy duo aren't the biggest fans of bath time, but at least they enjoy the walk to and from the groomers. Plus, after their not-so-relaxing spa day, the groomer gives them a treat. It's just another activity that Meryl and Taco can do together. The precious canines get more than just a bath when they visit the groomers. Meryl gets a pedicure as an essential beauty ritual. Even dogs want to look great. After trimming her nails, the groomer applies polish, which is a special OPI brand pet polish. It gives the pit bull a girly look. The nail polish takes a little while to dry, so after she gets her paws painted, Meryl chills out and takes a nap. She seems to be comfortable in this new fancy life she never had before. Fans were just curious about Taco. What color nail polish did the Chihuahua get? Meryl was pleased to be pampered with some new nails, but Taco's focused on other things like food. In this picture from March 2015, you can see Taco slobbering up a giant bone. While Meryl likes her nails, Taco definitely enjoys a well-deserved delicious treat. Despite his incredibly close bond with Meryl, the Chihuahua didn't let her touch his bone. Even though he doesn't have that many teeth left, Taco's determined to chow down that massive bone without any help from the pit bull. Watching Taco turning Meryl away from his snack had the owners cracking up. The canine has definitely evolved since his days at the shelter. In 2015, Taco and Meryl got to celebrate another Christmas with their family they grew to adore. Luckily for fans, the owners didn't disappoint with the pictures. You can see the festive pooches reluctantly wearing antler headbands, and it's adorable. The dogs, however, didn't like them very much. The family said the headband because Meryl to stay still because she was worried the antlers would fall off. It was entertaining for the family, but the Chihuahua was the one who really stole the show. His head was too small for the headband, so they put it around his tiny body. As you can see, Taco was not amused. The canines started off 2017 with a visit to the vet. Taco and Meryl arrived with a notorious cone of shame around their necks. Wasn't the best look or an exciting way to bring in the new year, but their adoptive family these two ended up with are very careful about their health. The owners never revealed what medical procedure exactly the duo got done, probably for their own good. Thankfully, the humans around them were cautious about their health. They've taken excellent care of them up until now, and it doesn't look like that's ever gonna change. Meryl and Taco got lucky enough to live on open land, and they're free to explore wherever they want. That's every dog's dream, so these doggies really ended up in paradise. They can frequently discover new things like here, where Meryl met a horse and a donkey for the first time. The canine was curious about the farm animals and followed her human buddy to meet him. While the pit bull was out and about, Taco was perfectly content hanging out in the warm and secure house. The fact the two weren't glued to each other and can separate for a little while shows how comfortable they are in their home. Meryl and Taco aren't just mooches, they're part of the family and know how to make themselves pretty useful. A perfect example is when their human brother needed to get up early. The doggy duo gets to work and helps him wake up in the most adorable way possible. They first cuddle up under his blanket and then push his arm until he wakes up. In this case, he most likely woke up from the flash of the picture being taken by another family member who wanted to document their cute little ritual. These sweet doggies have a special place in the family's heart. Meryl and Taco suffered some kind of trauma in their former life, and it was a long journey to find a new family. They now have the love and care they always yearned for, and best of all, they didn't get separated. The canines can just enjoy life, relax, and snuggle up with each other for a nap. This charming picture was taken in early 2018. The dogs are curled up in a pretty fancy doggy bed, something they probably never thought they'd get. They're still the happiest when they're side by side, and nothing can break their special bond. Rocket Dog Rescue was the organization that ultimately brought the pit bull and Chihuahua to their family. The shelter rescues abandoned pets or animals whose owners can't take care of them. They also save animals that would otherwise be killed and gives them a nurturing place to stay while they're waiting to get adopted. No matter what age, breed, or what condition the dog is in, the Rocket Dog Rescue volunteers strongly believe that there's a home out there for every dog. They certainly proved that when it came to Taco and Meryl. Although it took some time, they found the doggy duo, a family that welcomed both canines.